Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity? Ooh.
Berserk, The Battle for Doldrey, is a direct sequel from the previous installment, The Egg of the King, which is part 2 of the Golden Age arc series. The Band of the Hawks are hired to take back the fortress for Doldrey, and by doing so they hope to end the war.
Berserk, The Golden Age Arc 2, The Battle for Doldrey.
After watching the previous installment, The Egg of the King, and giving it so much hard criticism because by me falling in love to the Berserk franchise, and now I am a newcomer follower to the projects, I was left very disappointed, and I was actually coming in with low expectations watching this one. And let's just say here that it's a good thing that I watched it, because I thought it was also going to be the same or at least worse. But honestly, I actually enjoyed this film more than I expected. Me liking it will be more than I expected, honestly, but I really enjoyed this film. I thought this movie was wow. This movie really did pull me in a lot. The movie starts off right after The Egg of the King, so it picks up right after the same pace method. And what I liked about this film is that they showed us more little detailed measures that the original series has kind of failed to do. And I mentioned this on my previous review that these films are having 50-50 gestures of what to put in and what to take out. And they take out important things and they put certain things on here that leaves us half satisfied. But I did like what they did in the beginning of this film, because they showed us a battle that they had in the 1997 version, but they want to flesh it out by showing us Casca's inner vision of what she went through as a kid and how she progressed as she got older. I thought that was very well paced. In fact, they have paced that so much with her character to the point where I thought this was practically her film. And the reason why I'm putting a lot of emphasis to this is because on the original installment, the 1997 version, when she was fighting and she was acting drowsy, we, the audience, thought, and even certain characters on the series, like Guts, thought that she was acting this way because she was tired, she was working too hard. But on this version, they let us be more educated to her characteristics by us seeing that it was just her going through female bodily nature. So this is a warning for people who don't like the sight of period blood, and I am one of these people. When I seen that, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do this. But I thought that was a very good way for us to get pulled in by the believement of her character, just to see and for us to believe her interactions towards her being in battle. I thought that was actually a ballsy move, because by us watching female characters fight in battle or just overcoming certain obstacles in shows and movies, are there any times where their bodily functional life situations interfere with them? And they showed that on here, and I thought that was well done. Getting further into this project, we're further introduced to Guts and Casca's bond. Now, they showed this in the 1997 version, but this is when the defense rate begins to have a lot of lackluster activity. And this is actually where we begin to get bodied into Guts' character, because when he begins to fight off a lot of enemies, when they're outnumbered, and he literally orders Casca to run and get Griffith and everybody else to help him out. This scene was a little bit of a letdown for me because I wasn't pulled in that much. The whole scene where he takes down 100 men and nets end up being carried towards his whole nine to gear. When people see him in his big sword, they call him the man who took down 100 men. This scene, I agree, it was fleshed out more. It was they had a lot of more blood and gore, but at the same time, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like that scene was a little too rushed in my opinion. They fleshed it out by just showing more elemental combat, but I feel like that could have been more well done and more well paced. Or maybe it was the animation quality that took me away. I don't know anymore at this point. Going further into this project, we are introduced to the scene where Griffith and a few other men and a couple of kings from the region is talking about the battle for Doldrey. And this is the scene that shockingly got me pulled into the movie, because they showed the same scene in the 1997 project, but it was just a regular conversation, and they were just talking about how they were gonna overcome the throne, and how they was gonna take down all these enemies, and no one was able to take them down. And when Griffith just said that, "Oh, I'll do it," they literally just jumped shit, and they was like, "Oh wow, really? You're gonna do this?" But they had that same scene here, but it was more pulled in by tension and more of a gravitational vision method. As when Griffith said this, one of the kings just looked at him, and they looked at each other while people were still talking and just saying that, "Oh, you're bluffing." And we just feel the tension, the bass of the soundtrack was beginning to get pulled in, as in, wow, you're seriously gonna do this? And as us fans and as us viewers is watching this, we get pulled in too. And I thought that was a great way for us to feel their motivations. That scene really pulled me in a lot, and this is what I'm talking about. I feel like if you're gonna remake or remaster certain franchises like this, get us pulled in more. It's like they half understand this method. Now, this is where the half begins to code down and be in a deteriorated level, because when the battle for Doldrey begins to happen, we don't get pulled in as we did in the 1997 version. Guts begins to fight his heart out, so does everybody else. Casca overtakes the throne, of course, and they added some scenes on here that was very creative, very well executed, but the tension, the drive, the motivation, and us being like us nail-biting for survival was completely cut off. And then in closing, we have one of the last climactic scenes of this project where Guts decides to leave the Hawks just as he intends to in the 1997 project. And when Griffith and everybody tries to confront him, and he tries to fight Guts for this, for the very last time to win him over, this scene was actually better than the original. The scene in the original was quick. I didn't really feel nothing to it until Griffith began to have this downside, like, wow, like I actually lost. But this scene dragged out a lot. We felt the tension between both of these characters, and I felt like the execution of the art material was very well done. It was snowing. They showed the elemental sides of how they was walking into the snow, and just the pacing of itself of us being pulled in by the atmosphere and slow turn of the animation quality being brung into us without us being intertwined with the fast pace in combat. I thought that was great. I thought that was beautiful, and above all, hell, I was won over 90%. The other 10% is where I have to keep going by bars, because by them taking away and adding, I would have been more warranted if they did not take away a lot of important scenes of Guts and Griffith's bond. And they took a lot of that bond, especially when they was celebrating their battle for Doldrey, and I thought a certain thing was gonna happen, but it didn't happen. And I'm like, why did they take that away? That would have been more eye candy to when he was trying to fight Guts so they could stay together, but they did not want to do that. So the only bond we saw between him and Guts was when they was beginning to have this type of connection towards battle, but not when things was beginning to have a lot of complications of people not liking Griffith and people trying to kill him, and Guts had to fight his way to win him over by killing the people that tries to take him down by his own earning of glory. Why did y'all take that scene away? I don't know. So to differentiate the original version into the Golden Age arc, people that has not watched the original, y'all may still enjoy these two projects up until the the latest one, but at the same time, due to the lack of chemistry and due to a lot of things being cut out, you're gonna not just want to get pulled in. You're not gonna want to watch a third one just because you want more and more and more. You're gonna want to watch a third one because you are left confused. Even when I watched the ending of this film, I was confused. I was like, okay, like, why is this happening? Even though I knew why this was happening, but by them flipping the script, you won't know at this point. They take away parts and they add in different parts into this project, just so they can pull fans and old comers, just so they can I guess, satisfy us and keep us on the edge, just like the part where Griffith was captured. Now, this is a flaw that the 1997 version had, because when Griffith was captured and he was butchered and he was literally on the brink of self-destruction, we understand, but we didn't really feel that. We didn't really feel all that gravitation to why this was happening to him. But they explained that a lot on this one. They explained it to the point where we understand, but not to the point where we felt it on the 1997 version. But on this one, when he was getting tortured, when he was being apprehended, I really felt why. And I was like, okay, but that's because they added a lot of emphasis to this version that the other one did not have. I mean, this version has a lot of explicit content, like blood and gore, even though it's lacking with the artistic style of the anime by having 3D elements to it, and they have a lot of sexual scenes. A lot of sexual scenes. I thought seeing Casca's vagina was enough, but man, they have, watching the second one, they're really not pulling their punches at all. And especially the whole scene where Griffith gets brutally tortured. You understand more about watching this project. Overall, it may seem like I am giving this anime the same type of energy like I have given the last project, The Egg of the King, but honestly, I enjoyed this one more. I feel like this anime has pulled me in more, but at the same time, I am still left with unsatisfaction of how to correctly make me entertained from start to finish without you taking out elements and adding on new ones to really get me entertained at all levels. So, how do I feel about this in the long run by me watching the third one or about to watch the third one? Well, I'm on board. I feel like if you're going to get me this hyped up to watch a third one, then you can't go wrong at this point. So yes, they have done a good job on this second project. I'm going to have to give Berserk the Golden Age Arc 2, The Battle of Doldrey, a C. At the end of the day, I just feel like majority of these films that is based on the animation quality of the masterpieces that we have grown and loved, you're playing a very dangerous game when you remaster these. But I'm have to say that this second project has entertained me in a very, very unexpected way. Okay, I was really ready to just bash shit to the wind, but I cannot ignore so much good things they added to this anime project. Oh man, I'm getting tired. I am getting tired. But other than that, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. And I hope you guys have a good day.